What's up? It is freezing out. All right, big day today. We got Jerome Powell at 2 o'clock, and we got Tesla earnings after the bell. So big day today. Very exciting. Two of my overarching parts of my investment thesis are coming together today, and I'll explain that in a second. But first, how's the Tesla been in the snow? It's been great. Yo, self-driving's done awesome. I put it in chill mode just because I didn't want it to peel out on the snow, but I think it would have figured it out anyway. I'm a little worried though because I got performance tires and not really winter tires, so I don't know how that's going to play out. These roads have been a little funky, but the car's done very well. No complaints at all. So shout out to Tesla, exactly how I thought it would be. It's been. All right, so what is so important about today? All right, I said two of my main parts of my investment thesis on the same day. You know, shout out to the Patriots making the Super Bowl. Today is like the Super Bowl of investing for me, right? So the number one thing that drives my investing is the national debt. Okay, it's 38.6 trillion. It's going to be 50 trillion before you know it, probably by 2030. So let's look at this kind of. Imagine you're in debt and you're drowning in debt, right? You're spending more money than you make and you're starting to drown from the debt. What do? So you got three choices, okay? And countries have the same three choices. So choice number one you have is stop spending so much money, right? Spend less, take the savings, and pay down your debt. That's the Dave Ramsey Peace University, Financial Peace University. That's what Dave Ramsey teaches in his most basic core, right? Spend less, pay off your debt. The government tried this, okay? That's one option for the government. We tried this. It was called Doge. It failed miserably. Not that it wasn't a good idea, not that good people weren't running it. It just shows you that the system is designed to spend money. And as soon as you challenge that system and encourage it and try to force it to spend less, the system will fight you back tooth and nail. All right? A year later, in Minnesota, Nick Shirley goes to Minnesota, makes a video with allegations of $9, $10, $20 billion of fraud, and people are just all up in arms and upset, not because of the fraud. They're calling him a Nazi and they're fighting him tooth and nail. So again, I'm not trying to convince you of anything politically. I could care less where you stand. I've said it many times. It's a waste of time to argue politics on the internet, so I don't. But you have to understand this macro environment and the things that are happening and how it relates to the thesis, at least that I have, right? And this is how I break it down. So the country's addicted to spending money. So they can't spend less money. So we take in $5 trillion a year in taxes and receipts. We spend $7 trillion a year. What are the three biggest expenditures that we spend? And this is where we tied into Jerome Powell today. What are the three biggest things the government spends money on? Number 1 and 2, Medicare and Social Security, which are the exact things that were being defrauded in Minnesota, allegedly. But, so Medicare and Social Security, somewhere around $3 trillion a year. So more than half of what we take in, we spend on that. No politician in their right mind is going to ever cut that, right? They uncovered some things in Doge. They tried to make some corrections. It was freaking, a mutiny, right? People were so up in arms about that. So whatever. Social Security, Medicare can't get cut. So we can't correct those two things. Now, here's a little secret about Social Security and Medicare, just so we're all on the same page here, guys, all right? Yeah, that's an additional tax that you pay. It's 13% on everything you earn. If you work a job, you pay 6.5%. Your employer pays 6.5%. If you work for yourself, you pay 13% self-employment tax. That's on top of your income tax, your state and local taxes, all that stuff. Okay, where does that money go? Who knows? Okay, it's the dirty secret though is those programs are probably going to be insolvent by the time most of us get to reap any type of rewards. And there's a lot of people out there that it's sad to me that are fighting and digging in their heels hoping to get $2,000-3,000 a month in 10 years. What is that even going to be worth when you factor inflation? Okay, but the two biggest expenditures that the government spends, we want to cut expenses so we can work our way out of debt the Dave Ramsey way. Nobody will ever touch them. It's political suicide. The third biggest expenditure is interest on the debt, right? So we've racked up 38.6 trillion in debt, and we spend about $1 trillion a year in interest payments. Well, that's an easy one. So how do we cut the interest on the debt? Well, that's the beef with Jerome Powell and Trump, right? Jerome Powell, for whatever reason, doesn't want to lower the rate. The prediction today is that he won't lower the rate. It'll hold steady. Trump wants him to lower the rate because if we can lower that rate, all new debt that we create will come out at a lower rate and thereby lower some of the expenditures. It doesn't really do anything in the grand scheme of things because you're still spending more money. You're just paying less on interest. It's just, but you're going to rack up more interest that you owe. So in the end, you're going to borrow more. You're going to pay the same amount of interest. Again, Dave Ramsey, I'm not a Dave Ramsey fan, by the way, but the dude's right about this. I'll give him his props. I don't agree with many other things he says, but this part he's right about if you're trying to start out, pay off debt. So the government cannot spend less money. It's impossible. The system is designed where it is impossible to spend less money. Okay? So what's the second thing you can do if you're trying to get out of debt and you don't want to spend less money? Well, the second thing you do is you earn more money, right? So fine, you want to go to Disney 3 times a year, you want to go out to dinner every week, you want to drive a Range Rover, well, you got to earn more money. You know what I mean? So how does a country earn more money? So a country earns more money by growing their GDP, their gross domestic product. That is their income, right? The income of a country. So how do you grow your GDP? Well, you got to grow your economy. How do you grow your economy? Well, you bring businesses back to your country so they will invest in your country, right? That's one way. Another way, which is the way I'm betting on, is AI. I think AI will grow our economy immensely, hence my Tesla bet. Now, the dirty little secret of AI that nobody really talks about is that the next 5 to 10 years are going to be very disruptive, and there's going to be a lot of pain as AI transitions in. A lot of jobs are going to be lost. My whole bet, part of it on Tesla, is Robotaxi. The car's driving me around. When this works, right, what happens to everybody's side hustle on Uber and Lyft? It goes away. So there will be a lot of pain in the next 5 to 10 years, but on the back end, I think we'll be much better for it. So one way that the United States can grow their economy and earn more to potentially pay off their debt is through AI, right? AI allows you to supercharge, exponentially grow your income, grow your economy. So for the average person who may get disrupted by AI in the next 5 to 10 years during this ugly phase, what do? Very simple. Invest in AI. That's it. You know what I mean? Just invest in it. That's it. Because it's going to happen whether you agree with it or not. It's going to be ugly for the next 5 to 10 years as things transition, right? That's just what disruption is. It's ugly, okay? So invest in it, because if you don't, you may feel a lot more pain, okay? So option 2 for the government to get out of debt is grow their economy. I think that is doable, but I don't think the debt will ever get paid down, right? Because once you're addicted to spending that money, as we've seen, they won't give it up, and they'll find any excuse not to give it up. So fine, we'll earn more and we'll just spend more. That's it. They'll find other ways to spend it, okay? And what's nuts too, one of the ways to grow the economy is tariffs, right? So you force companies to produce things here, to bring manufacturing back to the United States. But the guy does tariffs and everybody gets pissed off, and somehow it's in the Supreme Court now. So again, big overhang on the stock market, right? I don't understand it, but I do understand it, actually. Again, it's not political. I'm not making a pro-Trump video. My job is not to convince you of anything politically. I could care the hell less, to be 100% honest with you, okay? But what I'm telling you is you have to understand how this all plays together. So tariffs are part of the puzzle. Encourage companies to bring their businesses here, manufacture things in America, grow our economy. If we grow our economy, we grow our income. If we grow our income, theoretically, we could pay down our debt. Probably won't happen, but okay. So option 1, like I said, is spend less. That's not going to happen. Option 2, grow our economy. AI is the play for that. That's my Tesla bet. What is option 3? Okay. Option 3 is also one of my hedges, is that we can't grow our economy. We can't cut our spending. So we do what every other country in the history of the world has ever done when they've been in a position that we're in. And that is we print so much money that we devalue our debt. So we take the money printer, we kick it into high gear, we just print, issue as much debt as we can until nobody will buy it, then we buy it ourselves, right? And that's what's happening. I don't understand how the government can give itself an IOU. I've studied this many different ways. It's completely illogical to me, but they do it. So literally one department of government will print the money, the other part will take the IOU and spend it, right? It's nuts. So what's my hedge to that? It's Bitcoin. That's it, right? Any hard asset. Gold and silver are running recently. Is that part of it? Possibly. It's weird because gold and silver are usually when things are really bad is when they run. Stock market's at an all-time high. We're being told the economy's doing better than ever, and yet gold and silver are running. So, I don't know. Whatever that means, it means. So, print, and devalue the debt. So I think personally, the number one option out of those three that the United States government will do, which every government has ever done in history, no matter what we think Trump can do, what do you think about Trump and his ideas? It doesn't matter because in November there's the midterms, so that'll change everything. They'll just fight it. It'll go to Supreme Court. Everyone's going to fight to maintain the status quo. And the status quo is those in power spend the money. They have access to the money printer. They win. They will do anything possible to maintain it. And it's not Republican and Democrat. It's been like this forever throughout the history of the world. So option one, they won't spend less. That's out the window. We know that's not happening. Option two, most likely our economy will grow. AI is the hedge for that. Tesla earnings today after the bell. Watch it, see what they're doing. Robotaxi and all that, how that's growing. Big moves there. So you have to be exposed to AI because that's what's going to grow our economy more than tariffs and bring it back manufacturing and all that is great. But I think AI is the primary driver of growing our economy. And number three, they will continue to print the money so nobody wants it. People don't want it already, which is why the government has to buy its own debt. That's the Bitcoin thesis, the gold thesis, the hard assets. If you own hard assets, they will go up. Okay? You win on inflation. Although you really don't win because your buying power goes down, but you still win versus not having it. So that's what it is, guys. So two of my major theses are coming to a head today, right? And it's kind of exciting. We'll see what Jerome Powell does. He's out anyways, so whatever. He's a lame duck. We'll see what Tesla does. Very excited about earnings after the bell. And, just follow what I'm telling you. And if you want to learn more, Ray Dalio did a great book a couple years ago, The Rise and Fall of Empires, right? And how this thing works. Don't read the book if you don't want to. Watch the 45-minute YouTube video he made summarizing it. Really puts it in perspective, the history of countries and how we are not the first and won't be the last. This has happened every single time in history to whoever the world power was. All right, guys, kind of a long one, but it was important to say, and I want to put in perspective why I think the way I think and what it is and how you have to pay attention to these things, but don't pay attention to them because you want to get emotional and convince other people to believe your politics. Nobody cares, right? Pay attention to them to see how it all works, to power your investments and power your future financial freedom. Take it easy, guys.